Welcome back, YouTube gang. It's good to have you here. Today we are working on the 2019 Ford Mustang GT. We are actually installing the JLT Cold Air Intake and the JLT catch can, and after that we're tuning the car. And I got all my parts from American Muscle. That's the best place to actually buy your parts for the Ford Mustangs. I am not sponsored by them. I just want to give them a big shout out. The parts got here really fast. Anyways guys, here are the parts. Here we have the intake, the actual intake tube. We're going to put it right here. Have the big old filter. We have the box for the filter and intake, and we have the catch can, which works to actually prevent any type of sludge in your engine. And for this you will need very simple tools. The only thing you'll need is probably a 10mm socket and a wrench and a flathead screwdriver. Alright guys, to start off we actually want to remove these two covers from the engine cover. We're going to remove both of them, and then there are going to be two 10mm bolts in there, which we are going to remove the engine cover. Once we have those two screws out, we will go ahead and grab the engine cover and pull it up. It will pop out, and it will pop out of the back area as well. Now guys, to install this catch can, it's really simple. It will go around here. It will be just connected with the hoses. One of the ends goes in here, and one of the ends goes in here. So let's go ahead and remove this. Voila guys, that is off. As you can see, here is one of the nipples, and the other one is somewhere around there. So as you can see, that is a pretty simple mod to do. We have it in here, it's secure, and you should remove the oil every oil change. Every time you change the oil, you have to remove the oil in there, or if not, it will go back into the intake manifold, which is terrible for your engine. Alright guys, now comes the best part. We are going to remove the intake. In order to do this, you need to remove the PCV valves, or the PCV hoses. So you're going to go ahead and push this down to remove the hoses, the PCV hoses. Very simple. It's a little tab you push down on. Over here on the back, it's the same as the catch can style. It's a little tab it has. Let me try to do it with one hand. Very simple to remove. Now here's the hardest one. This is the sound tube. You're gonna have to decide if you want to keep this or delete it. In this case, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna have to drill a hole on the JLT, but I'm gonna do that once I measure the JLT tube out. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this with a pair of pliers. Alright guys, once that hose is out, we will go ahead and start removing all of these screws. The mass airflow screw, you got to be careful with the mass airflow sensor. It's a very sensitive sensor. Remove the connector. Remove these screws, which are flathead. And we are going to remove the retaining nuts for the intake airbox. We almost have everything out. The only remaining thing is to remove the lower piece of the intake airbox. As you can see, we have the lower piece out, and it's really clean. I mean, this car has only 3,000 miles, but anyways, we have the lower piece of the intake out. We have all of the remaining pieces here. I'm going to box them up just to keep it when I'm going to sell the car and return it back to stock. Okay, as you can see, the lower part is very simple. You just have to put it in place, push this cold air intake duct out, and tighten down the 10mm bolt once again. It's time to drill the hole for the supplied grommet, which is this big. We are going to have to drill 1 1/4 hole somewhere around here. Once you have that installed, you will go ahead and thread it in and go ahead and clean this up real good. You don't want to have any plastic shreds in your intake. So now we remove the mass airflow from the old box, and we are going to install it in the new one. we have to install this rubber gasket in between as a sandwich, and we will go ahead and install this right here with the supplied bolts. Once we have the mass airflow connected, we will go ahead and install the bottom PCV tube. Very simple. Slide it back in and it'll click. We'll go ahead and connect the mass airflow. Click it in, and we will press this into here. It's a little detail. Perfect. What's next? We have over here the other PCV connection, which we will connect right in here. It's a little hard, but we will get, there you go, one-handed. And this one, which is pretty hard, I'm gonna have to use both hands for this. Alright guys, the last step is really easy. I already got this in here. The last step is to tighten up all of the flanges. Obviously put in the filter element and tighten up everything. Make sure everything is perfectly fine and settled. Once everything is tightened up, we will install a little foam pad that goes right here. Prevents the heat from getting into the intake air box. Now it's time for the most important and the best part, which is tuning the car. Alright, let's start tuning the car. And here is what you have to do. It'll come up under the octane rating. You'll go ahead and install the JLT plastic tune. Go ahead and approve that. Obviously, once it is tuned, you can go ahead and hit the start button. Okay guys, so basically once you are done tuning the car, you can go ahead and take it for a test drive, and supposed to pick up around 15 to 20 horsepower at the wheels. Guys, I hope you found this video useful and that you can go ahead and install your JLT Cold Air Intake, your JLT catch can, as well as your SCT tune with the JLT airbox option. Take care, and remember to subscribe to Speed to Garage for more.